Hammy Hammelschlong. So, welcome everyone. If you're just joining us, I just now looked at the tags. When we use Squadcast, it gives us names, or we can request our own. Mine is Funny Synth today, and I don't even assign my name anymore because I want to see what it gives me. Funny Synth is not that awesome. Nick's, on the other hand, is one that he gave himself, I'm guessing. Hammy Hammelschlong. Sounds dirty, but isn't.
It isn't. Absolutely not. And I would like to say that I chose it. And I did.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Mine always comes up my email address, and you're always coming up with, I didn't know that it automatically generated names. I thought you did that every time.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought, okay, John always comes up with funny names. Sometimes they hit the mark. Sometimes they don't. I'm coming up with a funny name today.
You did, but I could tell it was yours, self-assigned because it's capitalized.
Yeah. Yours is never capitalized. I never noticed that. That's a good catch right there.
I'm here to help.
What we were talking about before we jumped over was I used to own my own business. I used to several iterations of the business. It was a photography website design business at one point. Then it became an advertising business, and then it became a full-on digital marketing consulting business
slash massage parlor.
Right.
Didn't you guys you did Brazilian waxes, didn't you?
I did any kind of wax you wanted. I even did wax figures.
Wow. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
So anyway, I had a client here in Nashville that actually and should we back this up a little bit? I mean, we were talking about guns, and I know it's not a very sexy topic for a lot of people. We'll probably lose half the listeners in the United States, but John and I were talking about guns and the fact that safes are a little bit more difficult to access quickly when you need it. But we both have safes that have finger identification. Biometric, yes. And whenever you get out of the shower, or if you're really, really cold, the biometric thing never works. So you sit there and you have to rub your finger on your shirt.
Because the first thing I do after I get out of the shower is pull out my gun.
Well, you'd never know. I'm just saying, you're either too hot or you're too cold. You're never just right to get that biometric to work every time. So it becomes a really difficult task if you needed to get the gun out of the safe. Not that we've ever had to, but
speaking of getting the gun out of the safe, I'm having a little trouble getting the picture of you naked, dripping wet out of the shower, trying to get your gun out of the safe.
John, I know that's not hard for you to do, because that's what you dream about every night.
I am going to be right there to get you, Mr. Intruder. You just wait till I dry off. Then you're in trouble. And
that's right.
Get this stupid
John, you're missing the point here. I'm walking out. If I'm naked, I'm walking out with a loaded gun right there. No one is going to mess with me when I'm nude.
Yeah,
I almost said naked and nude at the same time.
I know. Actually, Jennifer said the same thing. No one's going to mess with him when he's nude.
Exactly. No one. Anyway,
I'm not messing with him when he's nude.
we were talking about safes, and that led me to my old business. And I used to. One of my clients used to be or he still is. The business is still exists. He does the coverings over your your roof drains.
Oh, so like leaf guard or
I'm trying not to say the name. That's why I'm hesitating. Well, because I don't want to advertise him for. He's not a client anymore. Oh. Anyway, because I don't have that business anymore.
You're so hurtful.
I am very hurtful. Very nice guy. I really, really like him. Yep. And if I still had the business today, I would probably still have him as a client. He was a good client. Anyway, his office was in the back of his brother's gun safe shop.
Okay.
So every time I would go see him, I'd have to walk through the gun safe showroom. And oh my goodness, are there some really cool safes that you can get? And it's not just gun. You can use them for any reason, but this happened to be specific for guns.
But not cheap and not
cheap. Not lightweight at all. My favorite one, though, and this is where I was getting with all that, my favorite one is they had one that you could build into the wall that had a biometric. And as John said, one of his safes is a really good biometric. It works about 95% of the time. This one supposedly worked about that much. You go up to the wall, you can move a little picture, biometric, and instead of the door opening, it slides down. Like it's a shot. really
That's
fast.
cool. I've seen some like that. In fact, some are like shelves.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like just moving a little Precious Moments figurine or something, and apparently the shelf will drop, and there you can access your firearms.
I think those are so cool. I think they're very, very cool. Not that we've got a bunch of guns laying around the house, but
that's the point.
For other reasons.
That's the point, though. You have a younger daughter and my granddaughter, and just kids in general. They're going to be inquisitive, and it's on you as a gun owner, on anyone as a gun owner, or other weapons for that matter, knives or what have you, to protect the kids from that. And I hear these stories about, it was an accident and something happened. You know what? It's on the gun owner to make sure that stuff's taken care of. So look, I believe in the Second Amendment strongly, as you probably know if you've listened to this particular show before. But I will tell you that there are responsibilities that come with it.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. And that it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't just mean guns. It's
anything,
knives. It's anything that could be dangerous. It could even be something that's valuable. I think it's up to, I have in my safe, I've got very precious things that are precious to me that I don't want. One, I don't want my daughter getting at just because I know they're going to be gone. Two, I don't want anyone to steal or have an easy time stealing.
Sure.
Yes, if they're going to break into the house and they can somehow get the safe and take the safe, by all means, if you're going to work that hard to get what I have, you can have it.
Well, yeah,
there's nothing that valuable.
No, exactly. And that you make a great point, because it's the differentiation between monetarily valuable and stuff that's personally valuable, and I would agree that you and I probably have more of the latter rather than the former. Oh, right. Of course, you do have that ruby collection from the Titanic. I remember that you said you have that. If anyone wants to break into your house,
I just
123 Anywhere Street in Nashville.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, I like to go to the back of the boat once in a while and just go, oops, and drop it in the water.
Nice idea.
Yeah. But speaking of valuables,
yes,
you and I were talking this morning, and before we got on to first got onto our day and then got onto the podcast.
Yep.
But something very valuable to the both of us, and I think all of our listeners know how valuable our wives are to us.
They are.
And
what did you do now? Is she
nothing?
She's
no.
Mad at
did you not read? You don't remember what I texted you back? So John, this morning, we said, "Hey, when are we going to do our next episode?" And I said later on this evening would be great, because he said, well, I'm sorry, let me back up. He said, I won't be able to do it this weekend because it's my anniversary. Why is it not showing up?
I don't know. Mine's not either.
You emailed it to me.
I must have emailed it.
Yeah, you said it's my anniversary this weekend, so we're heading out of town.
We are.
And I said, how ironic. It's also my anniversary.
I didn't catch that. So that's because I haven't read my email reply from
Damn you, John. Damn you.
Come on.
Well, we normally text. We don't usually email each other.
I know. Why would I email?
I don't know. I thought you must have been. It was early. It was very early.
Cavemen?
You must be. You must be cavemen.
Oh, awesome. Which day is your anniversary?
Ours is on the 18th.
Ours is on the 17th.
Very nice.
Some years before yours.
Yeah, yeah. Ours is pearls or silk this year.
Mine is actually swine. So I'm
swine.
Yeah.
So you're going to go have some barbecue somewhere?
I plan to, actually.
And sweet.
That is not my wife's name. You know that. Oh, almost had the coffee spit.
It's not coffee. Thank you very much. I don't do coffee at night. I wish I could. I know. I wish I could. But no, this is called cryo brew. Oh. And it's actually chocolate. You make it like coffee.
Oh.
But it's a chocolate drink.
You can understand my confusion since
it looks like coffee. Oh, it's kind of. I'm going to pour it on my computer. Yeah.
Just to show me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's awesome. So it was indeed. No, it's not swine. I don't know. It is 33 years for us. So I'm
very nice,
proud of that, and mainly because
someone could put up with you for 33 years.
Well, that's for sure. But our 15th anniversary, I remember thanking Lisa for the 12 best years of my life. and she didn't argue because you know what? When you make it to 15 years, you're going to have about 3 years of crap.
Yeah. Well, ironically, it is our 12th anniversary.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, if you've not had your 3 years yet, well,
we have
around the corner.
We definitely
good. Then you're fine.
Yeah. We made it was, and luckily or not luckily, I don't know how you want to put it, but that was probably the first 3 years of our marriage.
Yeah.
That was when our most difficult period in our life happened. But we made it through, and I think it made us stronger, and I love it.
I think that's what it's all about, and not that you and I are going to wax philosophic about all of this, but I
why
think
not? That makes our podcast.
We usually do, yes.
We're back to waxing.
Yes, we are. It always comes back to waxing.
Wax on, wax off.
Yes. I think that you're right, that you gain a strength, and not everyone does. Not everyone has the patience nor the wherewithal to stick it out when that. I think that stuff happens to everybody, though, and you make the choice how to deal with it.
I agree with you to a point. I want to make one addition to that, and that is the people sometimes sticking it out isn't always the right choice.
Oh, no, of course not. But because you're talking about individual personalities.
Right.
And so some people, how they got together in the first place, I don't know. And that's okay. But then you have others who view marriage as just a way to spend some time, or, it's rather than taking it seriously as a commitment and so on. And again, far from perfect. The last thing I will do is hold myself up as an example, but I do believe that there are moments that you can go back and view and say, okay, well, this was a turning point.
Oh, absolutely. No. Yeah. I definitely, again, going back to our first 3 years, if we didn't have the strength and we didn't pull together, because she is my best friend, has been for a very long time, we wouldn't have made it. And that would have been the end of it. But the example I want to use to my previous point was my dad. My dad on his second marriage, the second marriage lasted 20 years. And when he was going through a divorce, I said, when did you know? I was curious. And he said, I was married to her for 20 years and I was happy for the first 5.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So they spent 15 miserable years together just to try to make it work, and did everything they could do to make it work. And it wasn't right.
Yeah. And I know some people do that, they'll say for the kids or whatever, and I'm not sure you're doing the kids any favors when that's the case. It just feels to me like, sometimes two people are better apart, to your point that it doesn't always work out for everybody.
Right. Yep. Oh boy, this got fairly somber. We did get to waxing. Let's wax off now. Speaking of wax off,
yes.
Have you watched yet? It's on Netflix now. Have you watched Cobra Kai?
I watched the first episode and maybe the start of the second.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you saying that because you didn't like it, or you just didn't have time? What was the rationale?
It's a little hokey.
It is a little campy.
Yeah. Oh, campy.
So is the movie.
That's even better. Well, yeah. You mean Karate Kid?
Yes.
Yes. Was campy. There's no question. But it was, I don't know, it was brought to life by Pat Morita.
I could see that. Now, here's an interesting tidbit. I watched a thing on YouTube last night about Cobra Kai. What is Danielson? What's his real name?
Ralph Macchio.
Macchio. I was going to say Ralph Morito, but Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio, when he started filming the first season, was actually, I think they said 2 years, or it was either 2 or 4, 2 years older than Pat Morita when he played Miyagi in the movie.
That's pretty funny.
Isn't that funny? But he was 12.
He was, huh?
Ralph Macchio looks 12.
Oh, looks 12. I thought you said he was 12. No, he wasn't 12.
No. He was in his 20s.
His 20s, yeah. Playing a kid.
Yeah.
But he still looks young. I mean, if you watch him on Cobra Kai, he's a car dealer, which is hilarious.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I really love that aspect of it. Yes. I think that's hilarious. It makes me want to suggest to a dealer to get bonsai trees for their dealership.
to give away to customers. Yes,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. I didn't go past the first 1.5 episodes. So I was watching while I was riding my stupid bike and my exercise bike, and which I obviously don't do much. It was just it was a little weird. The whole setup seemed to last a long time.
Yeah, it did. It did. And it pretty much stays like that throughout the entire thing. However, that said, I really enjoyed it. My wife and I watched both seasons, and we can't wait for the third season to come out because it's coming out on Netflix. Awesome. Here's another little tidbit I got from that video, though. The woman who plays Daniel's wife
I haven't met her yet.
Yeah, you have. She was in the first episode.
I don't think
she works at the dealership. Anyway,
yeah,
they look to be about the same age.
Okay.
She's 20 years younger than he is.
Oh,
I thought, I just like, man, I wish I had those genes. And I was thinking about that today. I mean, I look back, I have an older stepbrother who is 18 years older than I am. And I remember when he turned 40, obviously I was 18 years younger than that.
Yeah.
I remember when he turned 40 and I thought, man, you look every year of 40. I don't think he listens. John, if you're listening, I'm sorry. His name is also John. But I look in the mirror and I see myself at 40 and I go, I don't look 40. Yeah, I'm a bald, ugly MFer, but I don't look 40.
Very handsome
I think so too.
It has nothing.
And I have a small ego.
Yes. Just tell that to the guy that breaks into your house when you're getting out of the shower.
Exactly.
He has a tiny ego. Anyway.
Tiny ego. Very tiny, minuscule.
I think you need to go with, I want to see you with like a 2-day shadow.
Okay.
I think that's
a 2-day shadow. It looks like a freaking beard.
As your look. Okay. Maybe a 1-day shadow.
1-day shadow. Okay.
As your look.
All right.
I think you should. And I know Jen's going to hate it because she didn't like your beard.
She doesn't like my beard. Now, Peyton still wants me to grow my beard back. And it is almost November, and I probably will do a no-shave November this year.
I'm not going to tell you what to do because then Jen will be mad at me. So, stupid John. Which I'm sure she says that a lot anyway. So it's just another reason.
Yeah, finished up dinner and said, I'm going to go upstairs and do a podcast. Stupid John.
Love that girl. So yeah, I saw you had posted a picture on, or maybe it was just your profile picture on Facebook, and I happened to see it in some post, and it was kind of dark and shadowy, and I think in my mind you had Peyton with you in the picture, and I thought, does he have like a 1-day beard going on there? That's what I thought, and I thought that's not a bad look for you.
Well, I'll have to look it up and see what you're referring to, because anytime you see a picture of me, it's probably with Peyton or Jennifer, but most likely Peyton, because I don't usually take pictures of myself and post them.
Gosh, now that's weird, because I anticipated that you would do a lot of that.
You would think. Okay, it was a picture of me and Jennifer, and it was the morning hike on September 27th. Yes, that was Sunday. Friday, so that would have been the third day without shaving.
Ooh, see, yep. I was pretty close with the 2-day beard.
Yeah, yep.
But she didn't like it. Did she? Was she disgusted?
No, she hates it. No, I wouldn't go so far as to say not did, but I don't think she was happy with it.
So for a while, I had like a goatee. And I don't know if I've told you this story, but it's worthy of it if I haven't. I maintain that Lisa thought I was a different dude sometimes, and hey, that's not all bad. Oh yeah, and this is like a whole different guy. Until one time when I had showered.
Get the joke out before you laugh at it. Come on, John.
No, I have to laugh. You know how I roll. So I had gotten Lisa a special, like a body wash for Christmas, and I used it in the shower. And
I remember the story. Yep,
go ahead. It was chocolate.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, and it smelled great. It was like a milk chocolate, really rich, and And so I got, and somebody asked her a couple days later, so what do you think of John's goatee? She said, I was kissing him and I don't know if he didn't wipe his mouth or whatever, but it tasted like chocolate. So not only it was the reverse of what actually happened, and that was me actually being clean, taking a shower, and it happened to be a chocolate body wash, which I highly recommend, by the way.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with chocolate, period. Never.
No.
Again, back to my chocolate drink. Now, see, this is supposed to give you energy like caffeine, but not give you any of the poor things. Like I still go to sleep, which is why I.
Oh, that's good.
I love coffee. I think we've talked about that many times, but I can't drink a lot, and I can't drink it anywhere past 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, what's your cutoff time? 2?
Usually, 2 is probably the latest I can, but I really try not to do it after noon.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan.
But sometimes when I'm driving, if I'm doing a long drive, I'll have my little thermos and I'll sip it past noon. But don't tell anyone.
Oh, I won't. But it's probably a better choice than. Oh, right. I'm going to be able to fall asleep really easy. I
fall asleep really easy when I'm behind the wheel. It's when I get home where I struggle.
Yes, exactly. I think that's for everybody.
Yeah. That was one thing I really do miss about my Jeep, my first Jeep. It had the soft top and no cruise control. Never did I have a problem falling asleep at the wheel on long drives in that car.
Yeah, and I think it depends on timing and stuff like that. The amount of sleep you got the night before. I had a buddy who used to work late at like a supper club or something 11 miles away from his house. And he would be coming home at midnight or a little after he got done with work. He was a bartender, I think. And he had to have the windows down and the heat on and anything because he would just fall asleep in 11 short miles.
I've never had a problem at night. I can't remember the last time I ever felt really drowsy at night.
Well, yeah, because you fell asleep and you always drive off the road.
Exactly.
I don't remember it at all.
In seriousness, during the day on a sunny day is where I struggle the most.
Oh, why is that?
Because I squint so much if I'm not wearing sunglasses.
Yep.
And it's usually the sun beaming through the window or through the sunroof. It's, it's nice and warm. Even if you have the air conditioning on, it's nice and it's just kind of warming you up, that perfect warm, not the humid warm. And it's just kind of, it lulls me into a coma. And I've always struggled with that. And that's why we were watching not to go back to YouTube. YouTube should be a sponsor because we talk about it a lot.
We do. And obviously they could use the additional exposure that we provide.
Absolutely. I mean, could you imagine how big they'd be if they had all of our listeners?
I know. They would not be the second place of search engines. They'd would take over Google. They would. They would.
Yep. It's like their own.
I owe it all to PoddiMouths. I can hear the speech right now.
Amen. Potty men. Anyway, we were watching another YouTube thing, and it was a YouTuber who I don't know much about him. It's a new one, and he goes around and travels and camps and has a van and blah blah blah. My typical YouTube person.
Mine too. Yep.
But he was in Sitka, Alaska.
Oh yes.
And he was there for 7 days, and he said it rained 6 of the 7 days. It was cloudy on the 7th. And then someone that was living there said, yeah, it's pretty typical. We have very few stretches that are more than 3 or 4 days with sun. The rest of it, it's pretty much overcast and rainy. And I'm like, that is the perfect place for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, I love it. Cold and rainy. It could be like that all the time. I love it. Love it.
Then Sitka, Alaska it is.
It is. And it's a temperate climate. So it's not too cold either.
Yeah, wouldn't they say not too cold and Alaska in the same sentence? What's the high in January? That's what I want to know.
I gotta look it up. I didn't really look it up. I just know I'll never get to move there unless I do divorce my wife because she is a sun bunny.
And she's smart.
And that goes without saying.
Sun bunny. I
made that up on the spot. I'm sure.
No. I'm sure she's well aware of that term.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. I couldn't think of another. There's a snow bunny. Why can't there be a sun bunny?
I think there is, and I think you should probably copyright that right now.
I did. It's my idea.
Oh, well done.
Thanks.
Sun bunny TM.
Right. Or sea circle.
Yeah, this is as long as you say it like that, I think
right.
it's fine.
Anything that we create is copyrighted.
It reminds me of I'm not sure why, of the Office episode where Michael was running out of money and he walks out into the main office and he says, "I declare bankruptcy." That's awesome.
That is great. That is
not
really
how
good.
you declare bankruptcy, Michael. So speaking of falling asleep at the wheel, you know where I never fall asleep, I never get sleepy?
In bed?
Riding the Harley.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of that
amazing
same idea.
what a 70-mile-an-hour wind in your face
Right,
will do to
and a
keep you
loud
awake.
motor and
Yes.
you know, it's
Well,
not.
you don't hear the motor much when you're at highway speeds, but
Well, that's good.
it's just a nice low like that. It's a really good
How
Harley
was that?
impression.
Can you do that again? That is really good.
Yeah.
Sounds like snoring.
It it does, and that could be Lisa on the back for all I know. I'm not sure, but I will say
have an
that
intercom, right?
no, we don't. We had one for a week maybe,
Oh, really?
and it was a little staticky, and I think it destroyed the peace for her of riding
not
on the
having to
back.
listen to you for a few hours.
May be it, but I don't want to put words in her mouth. But I will say that my buddy Matt, whom I always bring up, it seems like, his wife Carrie fell asleep when they were riding. She's on the back. And so Matt's at the front, and Carrie, as she describes it, goes, "Oh!" Because if you see the passenger spot on a Harley, it's sitting right behind and straddling the bike. And she's got, a backrest built into the tour kit, to her tour pack and everything. But yeah, she said she took quite a jolt.
I couldn't imagine
when she started nodding off. But I guess, and I don't ride in the back, obviously, so I don't understand it, but I guess you could if you're comfortable. And
oh well, some of the best sleep I've ever had has been in the passenger side of a car, or even I tell this when I talk about my stepdad's airplane, the V-tail. Yeah. I grew up sleeping in the back of that airplane. I can sleep in the back of any airplane or in any airplane because the V-tail does small circles and it just kind of rocks you to sleep. And of course, any airplane for that matter, the engine's loud, you've got headphones on, you're just cruising. Unless it's really turbulent, you're just cruising along and you're just kind of like, ah.
Well, and let's face it, especially if you're going over 2 hours, there's really nothing to do.
Right.
It's kind of, I don't mean boring, but it is. It's kind of boring for a couple of hours. A buddy of mine has a twin engine retractable, can't remember what it is, doesn't matter, Citation or something. No, it's not a Citation. Anyway,
I was going to say that's a jet.
That would be a jet.
But a 310.
I don't think
King Air.
It's a King Air. That's very good. That's what it was. And we took off from near here, and we were going to Detroit for a thing, and we got to Milwaukee maybe, and there's nothing to do for 2 hours or something like that, 2 hours probably. And he's just like, "Oh, I hate this part." What? Do you hate it? There's really not much to do.
Yeah, that's very true. So now, King Air is Beechcraft. Do you know that?
Okay.
It's the same manufacturer of the V-tail.
I did not know that.
Now you do. And knowing's half the battle.
What's the other half? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Nobody ever talks about the other half of the battle.
It's not knowing. They fight each other all the time.
Not
but
knowing,
knowledge always wins.
Knowing is half the battle. Not knowing is the other 2/3.
You're good at math. You're really good at math.
That's going to go over big, I can tell.
Yeah.
So you talked about falling asleep while someone's driving or whatever. Do you, does it vary based on who's driving?
No.
Whether you feel comfortable enough to sleep or not? So it could be somebody who just carjacked you and, well, I'm going to take the car to Vegas, and you said,
as long as it's smooth and we're not being chased by police, because those sirens, they blare, they're so loud. No, it really doesn't. If as long as we're not doing a lot of herky jerky or the road's not rough, I'll fall asleep. It doesn't matter. I don't get nervous in the passenger seat, but the only reason I don't remember who I was talking to about this. I love to drive. I love to not, and it's not a control thing by any means. I just really enjoy it. It's something, because I get very bored, which is why I fall asleep.
Sure.
So if you want me to be entertaining and we really enjoy the car ride, let me drive. But it has nothing to do with the control thing. I don't care who's driving.
I'm not sure I'd call it entertaining.
Well, about as entertaining as this podcast.
If you want me to be entertaining, feed me from some scotch. That's really what you...
I thought you were going to say Skittles. I would agree with both.
Actually, I stuttered a little bit through that whole thing. So,
do we have a potty corner?
We do have a potty corner, and I have to do a little bit of a setup.
Okay.
Because, again, it's from Matt, who... This is an awesome story. We went to a rally. It's the annual Labor Day rally at a Harley-Davidson dealership, Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Ding, not a sponsor, located in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And if you see Oconomowoc, you'll know that that's not the way you pronounce it. Oconomowoc. Oconomowoc. If you wanted to find if someone is from Wisconsin or not, ask them to pronounce Oconomowoc. Now, so we're at this thing, and it's fun, and I actually have tickets that I bought, raffle tickets.
Okay.
So we went up to a booth for $20. I got 4 tickets, I think, and it's a raffle to win a Harley-Davidson Road Glide, and they had it displayed. This is awesome, in this trailer. And it's a little, a trailer that would pull a bike essentially, but it's enclosed. It's enclosed by plexiglass, so you can see it. So the trailer is clear, and the auction or the raffle is for the bike and the trailer.
Wow.
Who wants to have a motorcycle that you're towing? So what do you backlight it? Ooh, look at that, Herb. That thing's hot. Anyway, whatever. I don't care.
I would put some blue LED lights around the edge.
That's actually what they had done.
Really? So at night it glows blue?
They lit it.
That's awesome.
I thought it was kind of
my
cool.
peeps.
Well, perhaps, but you need to get a motorcycle.
No, I'm going to get
You know what? Maybe I'll give you this one if I win it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I said maybe.
And I'll sell it and get an airplane.
No, you will. Okay. So we continue
to fly up and pick you up and
and then we'll rent a Harley. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're meandering around, and this is actually quite a cool event. They have probably 50 vendors, I would say, around with little tents set up and so on. We went to one, and they're selling these not unlike a Tommy Copper bracelets and necklaces and things like that. This dude is pulling a great sales pitch, and Lisa and Carrie had already had a couple of cocktails. So they were, and the guy's a good looking dude, and he's cut and all of that. And so, oh, well, tell me more, and they're eyeing him up, and he's doing a great sales pitch on this thing. Oh, it'll lower your blood pressure, and it'll help you stop snoring, and you'll sleep better at night. And then he had some stupid tests where when you put the bracelet on, he'd try to push you over if you were standing on one leg, and you couldn't do it with the bracelet on. But when he took it off, he could easily push you over. And I'm like, okay, I'm just sort of doing this.
I'm surprised those things are still around. Those were around.
I know. So Matt's he ended up getting one. I think Carrie got one, and Lisa got one. Matt paid for Lisa's because I refused to.
Nice.
So I may have bought him a hot dog, though. So these guys are just, oh, well, yeah. I mean, if it helps me stop snoring, it'll be great. And Lisa, so to the guy's defense, Lisa has stopped with her restless leg thing. She had that. That has stopped. Matt's, he said, I think it's helping. I think, and 2 weeks he goes on how this is the best thing ever. Apparently his snoring is back with a vengeance.
Oh, really? Go figure.
Yes, I know. And he's a big snorer, but I'm not sure he's any worse than I am when I'm on my back, which I don't sleep that way much. Anyway, so it was kind of an interesting, the whole funny part was going to one of these events and having some dude, he was like a carnival barker trying to get you to buy this stuff, and whatever. I will stop short of calling it a scam, but that was the thing that Matt was famous for because we laughed about it. So the question is, if any of you have bought any of those things, and some people swear by them. I have one. I have one of the magnetic bracelets. I think I got it 10 years ago, maybe 15. And I stopped wearing it after, I don't know, a couple of weeks because it didn't really do anything appreciable, or I couldn't. But it's like taking any pills or supplements. Some people, I swear by this. Well, why? Is it because you spent the money on it and you swear by it?
Absolutely.
Or no, because it really makes a difference?
I think, no matter what it is, I think if you believe it makes a difference, it's going to make some sort of difference. It's kind of like a placebo. Yeah. Placebos, when they're doing drug tests or things like that, there are people that actually have a good reaction to the placebo. Yep. And all the placebo is sugar. So yes. I really do believe in that. And I have too. I when I was younger, when I said, this has been around for a long time, I remember the copper bracelets when I was big into golf. So high school and college, actually mostly just high school. I don't even think I wore mine in college. I had copper bracelets. They sold it big time to golfers.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't remember whether or not it actually worked, but I wore it for a long time, so I must have believed it did. All I remember is it turned my wrist green.
So it was copper. Yes.
It was copper. Yep. But I have a couple of bracelets that are, lava rock, and you can put the essential oils on it. And it's supposed to slowly seep into your skin. And one of them is, you can do that. And then you also have one that's got a magnet in it. And, I wear it more for decoration, not because it makes me feel any better. I've never put essential oils on it. So I just thought they looked cool. So yeah, I have stuff like that. But, there are other things, like there are people, believe it or not, that don't believe in CBD.
What?
I know.
Weirdos.
Absolutely. And we can go back to the episodes where I was talking about how I didn't even want to get near it. Yes. I swear by CBD now.
Funny how that happened.
I know. Isn't that amazing? All of my aches and pains that I didn't even know I had are gone. And I sleep so well.
That I didn't even know I had. So you actually have benefited from your counsel with Dr. Quaddy.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but.
Yeah, actually, I think you just did.
Oh, okay.
So the word placebo comes from the Latin flatterer, or to flatter, which I thought was kind of interesting. Somebody told me that just a few days ago.
That's really interesting. Then why would they use that word as in the meaning that we use it in?
Well, it's to please someone. So by perhaps leading them to believe there might be some effect from it, that it would please them in some way.
Look at you sounding smart and shit.
It's a conjecture on my part.
Ooh, I think that might be one of the words.
Conjecture.
Conjecture.
No, that's boring. Put something.
I've got a lot of other words in here.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. So what Nick's talking about, if you haven't seen it, is our lead-in. What would you call it? Our lead-in.
I would call it the title.
Yeah. Well, it's not a title. It's like the title is PoddiMouths Podcast, but it's like a lead-in description, right?
Oh, it's the episode title.
Okay, episode title.
The episode title before the show notes.
Okay, before the show. Show enough. Yes, and you are the king of the titles, the show titles.
I'd rather be a prince. I don't think I've graduated to king yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're not a queen. So let's just
neither's my wife.
Wow, I think it's all those times when the intruders come in and you're in the shower. Oh my gosh, what else do we have today, sir?
Oh, I got nothing. You got something?
Well, I do, but I hate to bring it out.
Won't bring it out. Unpack that shit.
We got through PoddiCorner thanks to Matt, and Matt, thanks for your suggestion.
Oh, did we? I didn't know we were done with PoddiCorner.
Well, we are. I think. I think that if anybody has any other experience with the bracelets, and if they've helped you too, we're not here to poo-poo them.
No,
poo them. I just said poo-poo.
Yeah. Well, are we going into poo-poo pills now?
No, let's not do that.
You don't want to go to the poo-poo pills?
What are poo-poo pills?
You don't know? Okay, so there's going back to the placebo thing.
Yes,
there is a movement now, or science being done. This
you
is
said
real science.
poo-poo and movement in the same paragraph.
I did. Totally unintended, but I love it. I'm just a genius. I really am very smart.
You are indeed.
I am. But anyway, there is they call it a fecal transplant, and they're also talking about making fecal pills that you can take, and that's supposed to help your gut. And this is I guess real science. It's real medicine playing with this and doing fecal transplants to put good bacteria in someone's body. And
this sounds like a Cheech and Chong episode.
It does sound like, that'd be a good time. If maybe November will be Cheech and Chong month.
Maybe it will. Oh my gosh. That is disgusting.
It is very disgusting. But hey,
you know what?
Can argue with science.
You know what I will tell you though? I would be much less of a complainer about burping up my fish oil pills.
No, I bet you would. Wow.
That's disgusting.
I hate that. I really do hate that.
I do too, but can you imagine if you're taking poo-poo pills? That would be different.
It just your breath would smell like shit.
It would. Jeez. That's terrible.
Oh, wow. We have digressed.
Well,
okay, so now that's the end of PoddiCorner.
Is that how we designate the end?
I guess so. It is now.
Gosh. Yeah, that's beautiful. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't go with poo-poo pills for the PoddiCorner.
Yeah, I am too. Well, we kind of did. We ended on it.
We certainly did end.
We ended on that shit.
That was delightful.
Yeah. Let's talk about crop circles.
Okay.
Not really. I don't know. I know nothing about crop circles.
You don't?
I was just trying to, I know that they exist.
Okay.
And I know that some people create them, and others, the aliens come down and press down the field, right?
I pretty much, now we've said it all about crop circles.
Okay, then we killed that one.
Thanks for joining us.
We killed that one. We are so freaking good at this.
If you have an idea you would like us to share and discuss in our inimitable way in PoddiCorner.
Oh, I thought you were going to say amateur way. I was kidding. I'll agree with both.
Inimitable amateur way. Hey, but you know what? I like to say amateur like they do on the golf channels.
Amateur.
He's an amateur.
Yep.
Yeah. They don't do tour even. They say tour in Philly and the Northeast. He's on tour.
It's on tour. Yeah. It's like the difference between roof and rough.
Well, that's now you are talking to the dogs.
Yeah. No, there's some parts of the country where people say he's on the roof.
Roof and roof, not
whatever.
Rough.
It's rough.
Not rough.
Whatever. No, it's the same. You're saying the same thing.
No, it's our. And if you watch, what's the movie? It's crap. We just talked about it not long ago. The bombing of the Boston Marathon.
I don't know that one.
Oh yeah, with Mark Wahlberg and
I haven't seen it. I vaguely know what you're talking about.
You need to see it. It's a very good movie. I have it on my phone, so I can find it, and I'm going to feel like an idiot because I know that Candace is screaming at us right now.
Screaming. I haven't heard from Canvas. I haven't.
Or Canvas. I would not. You have a painting of her, don't you?
No. Even before this airs, I'm going to get a phone call for saying
I have a painting of Candace, and guess what? It's on Canvas. I call her Canvas Candace.
Candace, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
but I haven't heard from Candace lately. Have we?
Giggling.
Have we not said anything that's so appalling lately that she hasn't, questioned us on it? Or we need to work on that.
That's not possible. It's much more likely that she stopped listening.
Yeah, I was going to go there too.
Her. Bored her to death.
To death.
Yeah, not to death. Anyway, I won't think of it. Anyway, regardless, in that movie, it was quite interesting where they had it set up. I have no idea where I'm going. I've totally lost myself.
That happens to me all the time, and I'm glad it's you and not me. I do have one thing that I want to go back to that we talked about in our last episode. My dad did get back to me about 20 minutes after we got off the call, figures. So here is the update. So we were talking about wrestling last week. Yes. And we were talking about Bockwinkel and some of those old wrestlers. And the name I was looking for, I'll tell you here in just a second. The name I was looking for was a former boxer that my dad befriended when he was doing boxing back in the early 80s, late 70s probably. And then this gentleman became a referee for wrestling. I learn a lot from my parents when I start remembering little tidbits, and then they give me a lot of information.
Got it.
So the gentleman's name is Scott Ledoux.
Okay.
Scott Ledoux is a former heavyweight champion. Well, let me see. Hold on. His full name is Alan Scott Ledoux.
Okay.
Nicknamed the Fighting Frenchman. He was a politician, professional heavyweight boxer, professional wrestler, and referee.
Huh.
He was from Crosby, Ironton, Minnesota, and died in 2011 with ALS. Oh. So he had ALS. Mm-hmm. So he is actually a fairly famous. He made a Hall of Fame in a lot of different places. My dad sent me the article on ESPN when he passed away, and they wrote about him and how quote unquote famous he was. And so a couple of little tidbits that I didn't know. One, I graduated with his son at Anoka High School. My dad said, I said, do you remember his name or what year? I think his name was Josh. I had to look it up. I went to a very large high school.
How many people were in your class?
In my graduating class, I had a smaller graduating class. It was 695 people.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's about Lisa's size.
Yeah, it was massive. So we didn't know everybody. But I asked my dad a whole bunch of questions. He said, I'm not sure. I just remember being at your graduation ceremony, and I was surprised to see him there. In the last few years of his life, he had trouble remembering me, but he sure did remember you. So we were going down through the list, and the last thing
wait. Last few years of
his life.
About Josh now?
No, I'm talking about Scott.
Yeah, his dad remembered you?
He rememred me.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, he said your mom always got pissed because he had trouble remembering me because of his ALS.
Yeah.
But she loved it that he always remembered me. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, I remember him, but I don't remember those details.
Sure.
But it was interesting. And yeah. So, and he remembered me specifically because of the story I told where he brought me backstage to meet all the wrestlers.
Yeah.
That was his. I don't think that was the first time meeting me, but that was the first time meeting me as an adult that could probably talk. Not an adult, but a kid that could actually talk and hold a conversation even at a kid level. But so I thought that was very interesting. Scott Ledoux, look him up. There's a Wikipedia page with a lot of information about him.
Cool.
And yeah, he was a lot more interesting. Total fights, 50, wins, 33, wins by knockout, 22, losses, 13, draws, 4. His big fights. So Ledoux's opponents included Ken Norton, Ron Lyle, Gary Coetzee, Leon Spinks, Greg Page, Frank Bruno, George Foreman, Mike Weaver, and Larry Holmes.
What?
Yep.
So he was a real legit boxer. He wasn't just
which I didn't know that until my dad told me.
Wrestler on All-Star Wrestling or whatever.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, let's see. There's another one here. In his match with Leon Spinks, Ledoux earned a draw just months before Spinks defeated Ali.
Wow.
He also knocked off broadcaster Howard Cosell's toupee in a scuffle that followed a losing effort with Johnny Bordeaux. Ledoux insisted the fight was fixed by Don King, and he ranted to Cosell to tell it like it is, mimicking Cosell's famous catchphrase. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he was very interesting. I didn't know he was on the Anoka County, Minnesota Board of County Commissioners. Yeah. So anyway,
very cool story.
I definitely look up Scott Ledoux, Alan Scott Ledoux, Ledoux, the Fighting Frenchman.
So that one match was Ledoux and Bordeaux.
Yeah, Ledoux and Bordeaux.
Wow, that was well attended. I would like to go to the hotel.
Miguel, I want to go to the hotel to have a Miguel.
That actually sounds like Pepe Le Pew.
Well, it's close. It's Pink Panther. It's Steve Martin's Pink Panther.
Oh, all right.
Have you watched that movie?
I have.
Yeah.
Many.
Miguel.
Okay.
It's a hamburger. Miguel. Okay, I won't keep doing it. You guys watch Pink Panther.
Yeah, please do. So he stops this.
Absolutely. Well, I'll stop everything. Folks, if you want to hear more, if you want to hear some of our past episodes,
oh my gosh,
head up to PoddiMouths.com. You'll also up there be able to find our social media, links to our social media rather.
Yes.
And you can go up there, let us know what you would like to hear in PoddiCorner, or if you have any general feedback, we'd love to hear from you. John answers back really quickly. I saw that note from Mr. Bill Taylor about Stitcher.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I will apologize for Stitcher. Not anything that we can really do on our end, but I can reset the RSS feed there.
Awesome.
So
maybe that will help.
Maybe that'll help. We'll give it a shot, but I think it might be just an issue on their end. Anyway, you can head up there. You'll get linked to all of our, or we'll show up on most of our podcast listening devices or accounts.
Yes. And there's also feeds. A really nice, I don't know, a place that you might want to do shopping.
Shopping. I'm going to put a Fighting Frenchman shirt up there.
Anniversary gifts and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go up to our merch store.
Get there earlier.
Go up to our merch store and get all of that really cool stuff.
That's people will love wearing the PoddiMouths t-shirts and masks.
Absolutely. And I'm still also probably going to do this. I'll probably do it beyond the end of the year, but I'm just going to say until the end of the year, if there is merch that you purchase up there that has anything to do with patched overalls, remember all of the proceeds from that purchase will go to Tyson's organization.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So keep that in mind. Anyway, John, unless you got anything else, any other interesting follow-up news?
I always have interesting news, but I just have to save some for next week.
That's probably a smart idea. We got to fill it with something.
We do.
This week, I was worried about this week, and then I realized, hey, we both have the same anniversary. That's something to talk about. And we were able to fill almost an hour with that information.
Yes. Which
among other things.
Delightful. Yes.
Yeah.
There were some other things that arose.
Exactly. John, it's been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun.
It has too, you big liar.
You're right.
Thanks for stopping, everybody. See ya.